Here, friends, we're gonna draw a realistic lizard.
All right, dude, you got your marker? All right, we hope you're gonna follow along with us. This is going to be awesome.
Yes.
You ready to start?
Yeah.
Now, for this drawing, we're doing a lot of cool shading. So we need a light green, a dark green, a yellow, this is a gold yellow, and an orange. Let's put those off to the side and we'll do it at the end. Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah.
We're drawing his eye first. We'll draw it right up here, top left corner. And we're gonna draw an oval shape. Yeah, and then at the very top, let's leave a little circle and we'll color that in except for that highlight. That makes it look like his eye is shiny and there's light reflecting off of it. Now, let's draw a little wrinkle that goes over the top of his eye and one that goes underneath his eye. Cool. Now let's draw his eyebrow. It's going to go over the top of his eye. Now he has two eyes, so let's draw another eyebrow on the other side. He's looking off to the left. These really aren't eyebrows, are they?
Yeah.
They're not hairy. They're just the skin or the part of the face that goes over his eye. Now we're going to draw the front of his mouth. We're going to draw a sideways V shape. Cool. Now, at the very end, I'm going to have this curl up. Now at the front, let's draw his little nostril. And then let's draw the bottom of his mouth or his jaw that comes down like that. And see how it's closer at the front and then gets further away at the back. Good, I like it. Now let's draw the back of his head. So we're gonna come off the eyebrow, come down, and then curve around. And I'm actually gonna curve back in like that. Now behind their eyes, they have an ear, and it's just like a hole in their head, like that. And then we can draw wrinkles around that ear hole.
Ear hole. Ear hole wrinkles.
Next, we're gonna draw his neck coming down. So let's draw it wrinkly though. So we're gonna draw a line that comes down and in. Then we'll draw another one right below it, and I'm gonna draw it smaller. And then we'll draw a bigger one underneath that one, and maybe another small one. And then this one's going to come down for his belly. Next, we're going to draw his front arm. Let's draw a line, comes in from inside his body, connects to this line. This creates his elbow or his shoulder. Then it's going to come down here to his elbow. Since we're running out of room, let's draw this arm up, bending up, or out to the left. Yes, good job. Now we're going to draw the other side of his arm. So we'll draw another bent line that comes out like this and kind of gets close to his wrist. Good job. I like how thick his arm is.
He's strong.
Yeah, he's super strong. Now let's draw his hand. We draw a little curve for the pad on his hand, the palm of his hand. Then we're going to draw a small finger, so curved V. And then he's going to have a long finger that comes out and back in. If we go too fast, our art friends can do what?
Pause the video.
Yeah, you can always pause the video if you need more time. This finger is going to be even longer. Come out, and we'll go back in. See how I'm curving it right at the end? Good. Now let's draw his next finger. This one's going to be shorter. And then we'll go back. And then his last finger is even shorter. And we'll come back in like this. And then we'll connect it to his wrist. That's a cool hand, dude. It looks awesome. Now let's draw the little fingernails or talons at the end.
He needs a manicure.
Yeah. Now let's draw the wrinkles on his wrist. We'll draw two little wrinkles. And we can draw a couple wrinkles where his arm bends. And then a couple wrinkles back here in his armpit.
Wrinkly armpits.
Wrinkly armpits. Now let's draw it 3D. So let's draw his other arm and hand behind his neck. So we'll draw a little line that comes out from his neck Now let's draw the other side of his arm, and we want it to be the same thickness as this arm down here. Good. Now we're going to repeat a lot of these same steps that we drew for this hand. We're going to draw it up here, so let's draw that first pad, this curve. Then we'll draw the first finger, so a curved V. And then we'll draw the next finger, about this length. Good. And then go back. The next finger's longer, so we'll go out, down, and then back in. Ooh, that one's really long. Good. And then we'll draw that next one, it's shorter. Awesome. And then the last one. And then connect it into his wrist. All right, we did it. That looks really cool. Now let's draw those fingernails. And we can add the wrinkles. I'm going to add wrinkles on this side of his wrist and maybe one up here on the top. Next, let's draw his belly. We want to imagine this line coming off his neck. It goes behind his arm right here, and it's going to continue and curve up. And we want to leave some room back here, so we want to come probably end there. Yes, good job. Now let's draw his back leg. This is a cool leg. It's going to be bent, so we're going to start inside of his body. We're going to come right here, just past his belly. And then come back this direction. Good. Now let's draw the other side of his leg. So we'll draw a curve that comes into his knee. And then I'm going to come back and draw the other side of his leg. It's kind of skinny. All right, now let's draw his foot. We're going to draw the heel that comes around. This is his foot's bent back the other direction. And we're going to draw that first claw. Just like we drew over here at small. Then we're going to draw a longer one. Just like we did up here. We'll go back into his foot. And then we'll draw that next one. This one's longer. And then back in. The next one is shorter. And then try to fit that last one in right behind his leg. Good job. That looks really cool. Now let's add those fingernails or toenails. And let's add a couple wrinkles right here on his ankle. And then we can add wrinkles up here on his leg. So they have that leathery skin. And right where it bends in his body is where wrinkles would be. So we can add more wrinkles up here on his body. What should we draw next?
The top of his body.
Let's do it. Okay, we're going to start right here, the back of his head. And we're going to draw a wrinkle that comes in to his neck. Maybe we could even draw one more wrinkle. And we're going to draw the back of his body. It's going to come down and back up. What is he missing?
His tail.
Yes, he's missing his tail. We're going to first start by drawing one side of his tail. We're going to start by the top of his body. And we want the tail to stay on the paper. So we're going to curl up and create this big, cool S curve. Yes, that looks awesome. Now we're going to start down here by his back leg, and we're going to draw the rest of his tail. And watch this. We're going to start far away from the other line we drew, and as we get closer to the end of his tail, we get closer to the line so that his tail looks like it comes to a point at the very end. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going. Yes, just like that. It looks, well, really sharp at the end. Yes. Next, let's add the frills that go down his back and down his tail. And we want to make it look realistic, so we don't want these to look all the same size. We want to change the size. So watch this. We're going to do a zigzag line, but we're going to make it messy. So some of them are going to be long, and some will be small, some will be big and short, some will be long and skinny. Is that cool?
Yes.
And then as we go down the tail, we want to get smaller and smaller until they disappear. Now, let's add more wrinkles right here on his shoulder. I'm going to draw a little S line. And we can draw some more wrinkles right here. And then let's add a really long wrinkle that goes down the side of his body, his belly. And it can just be a weird squiggly line. Yeah. And then that squiggly line is going to keep going down his tail for a little while. Dude, we did it. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
All right, let's put our markers off to the side and we're going to color him. We're going to first start with our light green. And let's draw a line that goes down from his mouth. We're going to draw a little wiggly line that comes down and connects to his shoulder. And then that wiggly line is going to come up here and kind of connect to the marker line. Yes. Then we'll come back here and we can connect that line into his leg and then also right here on his tail. And then we'll continue this line going all the way back and then it can taper out into the end of his tail. There we go. Now we're going to color everything above that line green.
Okay.
You ready to fast forward?
Yeah.
Let's do it right now. Next, we're going to take our green and we're going to start dark at the top of his arm, okay? We'll come down. And then right towards his wrist, we're going to fade out into his hand. So we'll press lighter and lighter. Then we'll do the same up here on this wrist also. Fade out into his hand. And we'll do it on his back leg. And did you notice we didn't draw two back legs?
Yeah.
That's because we're imagining that second back leg behind his body. Okay, now on this line that went down his body, we're going to blend that out so it's not a solid line. So right here we'll start dark and then fade out into his belly. Is that cool?
Yeah.
We'll blend it out. Next, let's switch to our yellow, or gold yellow, and we'll finish coloring in the rest of our lizard.
Okay.
See how you get this really nice blending between yellow and green, where we faded out the green. It looks pretty neat.
Yes.
All right, our lizards look really impressive, except they need more texture because it looks flat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look very 3D. So we're switching to our dark green and we're gonna add some shading. So right here on his nose, let's start dark. And as we get towards the back of his head, let's fade out. Then let's add a shadow on the bottom of his mouth. Okay, and now we can shade the top of his eye. This is the part of his eye that sinks in. So there's a little shadow and some shading underneath his eyebrow. And we can also add a little shadow underneath this wrinkle and the wrinkles on his ear. Now let's shade the top of his head, just right here on the edge. And we can also add a shadow behind this eyebrow. So start dark right by his eyebrow and then fade out as you get towards the top of his eyebrow. See how it makes his eyelid look like it's sticking out?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's shade his wrinkles on his neck, the back of his neck. Add a little shadow on the bottom of each wrinkle. Now I'm going to extend those wrinkles out past. Look at that. Add a little more wrinkles that come across his neck. Adds a little texture and makes it look more realistic. Okay, now I'm going to shade also more of these wrinkles on his body. We can shade in his armpit.
Let's shade the
Armpit wrinkles.
Armpit wrinkles.
And I'm going to shade all of the wrinkles on his arm and his leg. Next, let's shade the bottom of his arm. So we'll start dark on the very bottom, and then as we get to the top of his arm, fade out. We'll do the same on this back arm. and also his back leg. Then I'm going to shade the side of his belly. So I'm going to start dark on this wrinkle right here. And as I get towards the top of his back, I'm going to fade out. And we can do the same thing just right here on the very back of his tail where it's coming out of his leg. And then if we're imagining the light or the sun shining on the top of the lizard, the bottom side of this tail would be dark. So we can start right here on this bottom edge like this and fade out towards the top. All right, dude, that looks so awesome. Now let's switch to our orange. We're gonna add shading to the yellow parts. So right here underneath his jaw, let's darken in the bottom and then fade out towards the top, and also do the same thing all the way down his neck and his belly. All right, the last step, we're gonna shade his hands. So we'll just shade the bottom edge right here, and then we can shade the bottom edge on each of his fingers. And then let's repeat those steps on this hand and also his back foot. Good job, checkers. We finished them. I'm going to do one last thing though. I'm going to take my dark green, and if you want to, you can do this, but you don't have to. I'm going to add extra texture to his leathery skin. So watch this. On his leg right here, we can use contour lines. So I'm going to go back and forth, how to do these squiggly lines, but I'm going to curve them so that his leg looks round. And then down here on this bottom part, you can curve the other direction. Is that neat? Makes it look more leathery. And we can do the same thing on the front arm. I'm going to curve it this direction though. Look at that. Oh, that looks so cool. And then we can curve down the front of his arm like that. And then we can do the same thing over here on his back arm. And if you want, you can even bring those lines all the way into his body. Look at that. And if you curve him, it makes his body look even more round. And you can even go down his tail. Oh, it looks awesome. Now he looks like he has leathery skin. Look, and I'm even going around his eye. We can even do his nose. Just adds more texture. It makes his skin look rough. Okay, that texture kind of looks like scribbles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it makes the lizard look more realistic. Mm-hmm. Did you have fun?
Yes.
You promise?
Yeah.
Now, they look different, right? Mm-hmm. And that's okay, because the most important thing is?
To have fun!
Yeah, to have fun. And one other thing, have you ever seen two identical lizards in the wild? Mm-hmm. Never.
Never.
It doesn't happen because they all look different. So it's okay if our drawings look different. We hope you had a lot of fun drawing and coloring your realistic lizards with us, and we'll see you later, our friends. Goodbye! Bye.